Hi, my name is Benjamin Stalker. I've been with DYNA Products for 5 years. I started out turning wrenches and pre-assembly, and then worked my way onto the engineering team, where I spent about 1.5 years. And from that point, I moved on to the IT team. And now I'm moving on to some special projects with kind of integrated with the IT team and some other departments. Kind of my story is kind of a story of infinite curiosity. It's kind of how I moved my way through this company, going from one position to the next, is because I didn't just simply accept things as they were. I wanted to know why and how. And really, from my earliest memories of my life, I was 4 years old, and this is where my curiosity, I remember taking off. I was 4 years old. There was a big storm, the tornado coming through. I didn't know at the time, it was just loud. So my mother took me to the basement, and my father, being a first responder, he had to go out and sit and watch for tornadoes. And while we were sitting down there in the basement, well, we had a kind of like a little emergency radio that my mom was listening to, and came up saying a tornado had touched down. Watched my mom get on her hands and knees and clasped her hands like this, closed her eyes, and me as a 4-year-old, I'm like, no, that's strange. I haven't seen anything like that before. And so naturally I asked, Mom, what are you doing? And that's the first time I learned about God and faith. And well, fast forward many years, I end up deciding to follow that path and follow God. Led me to be a young man trying to find a job and working, and finding out very quickly that not all workplaces are the same. I worked from places here or there, gaining some experience in machining, working some retail, working on a farm at one point, and ultimately led me here to DYNA. And how I ended up coming to DYNA was an interesting story. My previous place that I was employed at me and my wife, it came with a house. So we got a place to live, and my wife and I were very grateful for it. And as I started getting into the job, about 3-4 months in, started to realize that this wasn't exactly what we had thought. And through careful time and prayer, we had decided that it was time for us to leave, and we had to leave quickly. It's one of those things that once you leave your job that provides housing, you have to leave pretty much instant your last day. And so, of course, I had to find a place to work, and I had to find a place to live. So I ended up reaching out to DYNA Products, and I went through the interview process and kind of explained, hey, I'm ready to start like pretty much like the next few days. And they started asking, because they're like, you seem a little stressed, and so I explained a bit of my predicament, and very quickly a man named Chris Lambright ended up saying, hey, you got some chicken coops, you have chickens, you have a lot of stuff you need to get moved out. If you need, let's just borrow our trailer, like the DYNA Products trailer here. And I'm like, I haven't even started. Sure, yeah, that'd be great. I could use the help. And I had about 5 employees from DYNA Products come to my previous place where I was living, load up, and get me moved out of a place where it would have been almost impossible to do it on my own. And a few months later, ended up my wife and I ended up moving in with my in-laws. And a couple months into it, my mother-in-law passed. We found her. I provided CPR for about 5-10 minutes before EMS came in. And I was like, hey guys, I'm gonna need some time to take off to be with my family. I think probably not less than 5 people showed up to the funeral, and that meant a lot to me and my wife. And so from that point on, I had decided that this is really the company that I plan on staying for here as long as I can. And that's my Bloodline story.